it is amazing to me that you have apparently somebody at Arlington Cemetery, some staff member, had a little disagreement with somebody, and the media has turned this into a national news story. You know what I think our veterans care a lot more about? That Kamala Harris's VP nominee lied about his military service.
Trump's VP pick, JD Vance, is in full damage control mode after Trump campaign staffers got into a verbal and possibly physical altercation with a staff member over at the Arlington National Cemetery. This is a story that we covered just yesterday, and it has developed since then. Vance also used this as an opportunity to take some jabs at Kamala Harris. But before we get to that, let's back up for some context. First off, Cenk, are you familiar with this story?
Yes.
Okay, so you have Donald Trump and campaign staffers going to the Arlington National Cemetery. The whole point was a photo op, right? But the cover story was, we're gonna go there to honor the 13 troops who were killed in Afghanistan during our chaotic withdrawal from the country, okay? Now, the graves for those soldiers are located in a section called Section 60, where you are not supposed to engage in partisan campaigning, and there are some strict rules in terms of cameras, filming, taking photos. So here's the law that I'm referring to specifically. It is a federal law, Title 32 Code of Federal Regulations. This is what it states: memorial services and ceremonies at Army, national, military cemeteries will not include partisan political activities. Now, since this was a photo op for the Trump campaign, it was obviously a partisan activity. And so in addition to the literal federal law, their written rules also clearly state the following: partisan activities are inappropriate in Arlington National Cemetery due to its role as a shrine to all the honored dead of the armed forces of the United States, and out of respect for the men and women buried there and for their families. Services or any activities inside the cemetery connected therewith shall not be partisan in nature. And by the way, the Trump campaign got a warning ahead of time that they should not film or record any campaigning as they're visiting this section of the National Cemetery, Arlington National Cemetery. So apparently a person working at the cemetery confronted them as they were filming, and that's when the altercation ensued. After the fact, unfortunately, you also had campaign advisors, including top campaign advisor Chris LaCivita, referring to the person working at the cemetery as like mentally ill and things like that. I mean, just total clown show, okay? Now you have JD Vance coming in to try to do some damage control, which we're gonna get to in just a second, but any thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, so this story really annoys me for a couple of reasons. So look, the Arlington rule, I don't have much of an opinion on it. I get it. They don't want the Arlington National Cemetery, which is hallowed ground, to be used for cheap political campaigning, right? And this is as cheap political campaigning as it gets. Oh, Biden didn't do a good job and those people got killed. I'm gonna do a cheesy video, which Trump did, of course. But the thing I care more about is the rule breaking, the constant, endless rule breaking. Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. Oh, you can't have a camera in this part of this sacred ground for Americans? Who cares? Shut up. We're gonna have a camera. Who cares? Because Trump's above the law. He doesn't have to follow any rules. And everybody knows that if you try to apply the rules to them, one, they're gonna be thugs and literally hit you, which is what happened here. And number two, that if you say, all right, well, you broke the law or you broke a rule, we're gonna hold you accountable. Oh my God, then he'll cry forever. Oh, the deep state, the deep state, the deep state. Cry. And all of his followers are like, oh no, we're the victims. I am so exhausted from it. Will you guys stop crying for one goddamn second, okay? So, no, I know, he's a saint. He would never do anything wrong. You know what happened? Apparently one of the bigger guys on the Trump team pushed this lady, okay? And then after they push her, she decided not to file charges. Why? because she's worried for her life and her safety, because lunatic Trump followers would be like, no, it's your fault, you can do any video. By the way, if a Democrat had done it, you'd rip his face off, and you know it if you're MAGA, right? And did he do a video on it? Of course he did. Then after they push her and she doesn't file charges, they go, oh, she's mentally ill. No, she's not. She's trying to actually have some decency and honor for our fallen soldiers. I know Trump thinks that they're suckers and losers, probably stomped on the graves as he did his stupid political video.
So let me just clarify who said what. So it was Trump's campaign spokesman, Stephen Chung, who basically referred to her as mentally ill. We are prepared to release footage if such defamatory claims are made. The fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual clearly suffering from a mental health episode decided to physically block members of President Trump's team during a very solemn ceremony.
Every part of that is a lie.
Okay, and then Chris LaCivita is the one who said in a separate statement that the cemetery official was a disgrace and does not deserve to represent the hallowed grounds of Arlington National Cemetery. Okay.
She did her job.
She did her job. I mean, this is the law. I mean, okay.
I hate them. I hate them because they think they're above the law and they're entitled and that they could just run over any average person. Oh, you're trying to protect the memory of soldiers or whatever you're doing. Who cares? We're above the law. And they push her and then they, oh yeah, Stephen Chung, you goddamn liar, where's the video? He said, oh, we can provide the video. So the reporters asked for the video. There's no video. Oh, there is, but it shows them pushing her, so they never released it. What happened now, you stupid liar? Go ahead, call someone else mentally ill. I know you're mentally ill, odd job.
So let's get back to JD Vance, who's engaging in the damage control, and he wanted to kind of like push the blame onto Kamala Harris instead. Let's watch.
3 years ago, 13 brave, innocent Americans died, and they died because Kamala Harris refused to do her job, and there hasn't been a single investigation or a single firing. I don't, look, sometimes mistakes happen. That's just the nature of government, the nature of military service. But to have those 13 Americans lose their lives and not fire a single person is disgraceful. Kamala Harris is disgraceful. We're gonna talk about a story out of those 13 brave, innocent Americans who lost their lives. It's that Kamala Harris is so asleep at the wheel that she won't even do an investigation into what happened. And she wants to yell at Donald Trump because he showed up. She can go to hell.
You know what's disgraceful? How often our soldiers get used as political pawns or political tools, whether it's to manufacture consent for preemptive wars like the one that we did in 2003 in Iraq, or whether it has to do with pretending like you give a damn about our soldiers for a photo op, but really there's no problem with sending our troops to various wars that they shouldn't be involved in, which is currently happening, by the way. It's just, I'm so sick of the faux concern for our soldiers. Look at their living conditions. We covered a story about the living conditions that they're experiencing on bases, both abroad and here at home. Okay, these are people who have been neglected again and again and again and again. They risk their lives to protect the country, and our government and our State Department sends them off to wars that they shouldn't be sent to. But he's gonna stand there and pretend, okay, that the Republican Party, of all parties, cares so deeply about our soldiers. Really? Okay.
Yeah, I can't stand the Republican Party anymore in these Vance and Trump. Like he says there hasn't been any investigations. Not remotely true. There's been countless investigations on what went wrong in Afghanistan.
That's all our government does. All they do is investigations.
Yeah. So he's just lying, like brazenly, outrageously. And then he makes it sound like Kamala Harris was the president. She did this and she did that. She's the VP. The VP does nothing. Okay. So, and by the way, you know who set the exit date in the negotiations with the Taliban? Donald Trump did. Okay, so I'm not blaming him for the exit, but he's certainly more responsible than Kamala Harris is. But it doesn't matter because we're untethered from truth and reality. We're in Republican lunatic land where everything is upside down. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.